I'd like to call the GCCISD SHAC General Meeting to order. It is 5:06 p.m. and my name is Amanda Kennington, the SHAC District Chair and Facilitator. I'd like to introduce Dr. Bollinger. He'll wave. He's the Executive Director for Strategic Planning. He's also our SHAC District Liaison, so he sends messages from our SHAC, our council, on upward to our superintendent and to the board. And we also have Ms. Carrie Smith. She's our Director over Health Services, Student Services. Thank you for being here. And we also have Ms. Myra Aquino. She's Program Manager for Be Well Baytown, so she's attending our meeting to join us today. Are there any other guests that are just guests for this meeting? Okay, perfect. Well, thank you all for being here. At this time, I'd like to welcome the 2022-2023 SHAC members, and we're going to call roll just to establish a quorum. It will be pretty quick, so when you hear your name, please respond with here or present, and we'll do a chair count total for a quorum. Your attendance is important because for meetings of the full SHAC, the quorum has to be a majority of our current membership. Meetings can still be held without a quorum, but that would just be for presentations and discussions, but no actions would be able to take place without a quorum. And currently we're at a quorum, we need 26 members in attendance. So again, when I call your name, please say here or present. Mr. Abston? Ms. Alarcon? Dwayne Archangel? Debbie Arenas? Natalie Artiega? Stephen Bingham? Here. Patrick Brown? Here. Therese Caldwell? Here. Amber Carter? Sam Chapa? Here. Christy Clement? Here. Ashley Cox? Natalie Edwards? Here. St. R. Edwards Jr.? Emily Emmons? Sandra Encinas? Leslie Garcia? Jamari Gilbert? Brittany Griffith? Allison Halliday? Here. Wes Hines? Here. Amanda Johnson? Here. Michelle Casely? Myself here. Kim Kostick? Here. Vanessa Kyle? Here. Herbert Loffing? Trent Manuel? Here. Lee Martinez? He is here, but not in here. Tony McWilliams-Jones. Zul Mendez Medina. Martha Morales. Here. Stephanie Myers. Michelle Nelson. Patricia Pena. Here. Casey Pena. Maria Ramirez. David Reed. Here. Amanda Richards, Laura Rivas, Yolanda Rivera, Anna Rodriguez, yeah. Cindy Sandoval, Sheila Selman, present. Nawaz Sherman, here. Diane Slack, Eric Teguia, Janelle Williams, Elaine Wilson, Kevin Robleski. Thank you, committee members. We do have a quorum. We have 28 now in the room, so we can proceed. Is there anyone's name I did not call? Members. Okay, thank you. All right, so today's meeting is an open public event that's being recorded as a matter of public record. Please do not use jargon or acronyms, and confidential information should not be discussed. For the sake of those listening to the recorded event, we ask that each member, staff, and presenter state their name each time prior to beginning their comments and speak clearly and at a level appropriate so your voice and any comments can be heard. Can you all hear me? Yes. Okay. Parental discretion is advised due to the nature and content of our presentation and conversations today. SHAC meetings follow a basic set of norms to conduct our meetings that allows everyone to be heard and make decisions without confusion. We ask that you be courteous of the presenters and fellow members, wait until a call for questions or discussions is prompted, and members may then ask questions for clarification, but discussions will be limited to one speaker at a time. We ask that everyone's voice is heard before a voice speaks a second time, sharing only new and accurate information. And to get the most out of our meeting, please give your full attention to the agenda topics and mute your device. There will be activity time later in the session where we'll be able to talk openly in discussion, but towards the beginning, since so many of you are new to our SHAC, towards the beginning we try to get through a lot of the business type activities, so it's kind of formal, but then as we move on, it'll be more discussion. And especially in our subcommittee meetings, which are not recorded, we'll be able to have just full-on regular discussions, but these are just a little more formal. At this time, I'd like to make a motion for you to look over hopefully you looked ahead of time at the School Health Advisory Council meeting minutes. We had a special open GCCISD SHAC meeting on September 21st, 2 hours long, and we typed up some meeting minutes. It is a draft at this time. So I'd like to propose a motion if anyone would like to put that motion, go ahead and say that. Okay, thank you. Move to approve. Thank you, Ms. Kostick. And anyone would like to second? Thank you. Mr. Reed? And any discussion over the meeting minutes? Were there any changes, any edits? I didn't have any that were emailed. So just as a side note, after this meeting, we'll have meeting minutes typed up. If you have edits, just make sure you're looking over those, because for each meeting, we will look over those meeting minutes and for approval. All right, no discussion. So I'd like to put it up for a vote to go ahead and pass the motion to approve these meeting minutes from September 21st, 2022. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes. So these will be posted onto our SHAC website. Share some information about that in a little while, but you can find all of our meeting agendas, our meeting minutes, and the audio recordings of our sessions on the SHAC website on GCCISD. All right. Make sure I'm on the agenda. Okay. So now we're talking again about community correspondence. I just mentioned we do have a SHAC website. GCCISD School Health Advisory Council meetings are typically closed to the public. However, based on the District Board of Trustees resolution to recommend curriculum materials for the district's human sexuality instruction, the SHAC is required to hold at least 2 public meetings on the curriculum materials before adopting recommendations to present to the board. This is our second meeting for this topic. In an effort to increase transparency, meeting agendas and audio of all special and open special, open, and general SHAC meetings are provided on that SHAC website. And if anyone has public questions or comments or concerns, those can always be emailed to shac@gccisd.net. The email should be shared with the executive committee of the SHAC. Oh, what happened? All right. So I think we're ready to move on to SHAC chair report. All right, so this is kind of just a quick kind of overview from where we've been to where we've gone. I was speaking with one of our SHAC members earlier. Thank you, by the way, for helping. Many of our members came in a little bit earlier and helped get our folders together. So let's start off with what's in your folders. This is just the holder for each one of your meetings. Sorry, it just kind of was put together just before you came today. But you should have a folder with a sticker on the front. There's some QR codes that you will find that SHAC website, so you can just QR code it with your phone. It'll link you to our SHAC website. It'll link you to that EHAA Legal. EHAA Legal is board policy, and that will explain all of the duties of SHAC, and there's a lot of them, so it's a long document. So instead of printing out 14 or so pages, you can go through and scroll and read that document. I also put a QR code for the CDC Virtual Healthy School website. A lot of evidence-based strategies, programs, ideas that we can all pull from, no matter which subcommittee you're on, just to learn more about creating that healthy school environment. This would be great for your SHACs, also your campus school health advisory committees, to visit that virtual school healthy website to learn all about the WISC model, which is pictured there as well. And then I have a picture of the Whole Child Initiatives. That's my little department. The Whole Child Initiatives, my main role is School Health Advisory Council, and then I also oversee the Coordinated School Health Program, our CATCH program with kinder through 8th grade. And then also our wellness policy plan and review. So if you visit the SHAC website, there's also a link to go to that coordinated school health page, so you can just learn a little bit more about what we are doing here with the SHAC. You also should have, hopefully this is it, my card, so you have my information there. You feel free to call anytime. You have the card stock Be Well Baytown, so our program manager is here right now to visit with us. They support our district. Be Well Baytown is an initiative from the University of University of Texas, MD Anderson, and they are sponsored by ExxonMobil. And so this card just kind of gives you some of the current activities that we have been, Goose Creek has been working on with physical activity, nutrition, sunshades or sun-safe places, so prevention for UV or rays, tobacco prevention, all that have to do with even the vaccinations, immunizations. So the partnership has really helped us. So the bags that you have there, you have some items from Be Well Baytown as well. Some of you have potato peelers, some of you have just different items in there. So we thank you all for providing those to us today. And it also, that partnership, we're a part of a steering committee. We have United Way here today, and they're part of our membership with the SHAC, but they're also a part of that overall steering committee. So you see, we have lots of partners that we work with through Be Well Baytown. So we definitely appreciate that partnership. So I wanted everyone to have an idea what that was about. You should also have a letter. It says it's dated May 16th, 2022. And if you don't know me, now you know me, because it's a front and back. Thank you, Kevin, for smiling, because it is a front and back pretty much of the board report. You can go back and see the board report that each year our SHAC has to provide the board with an update on all the activities that we've done within that year. And this is not all of it, this front and back. So even though and some of the members that have been here with me last year and the year before, we have small wins, but we are always working and constantly working in the School Health Advisory Council on something, whether it's one subcommittee or another. It's all moving parts. And this is going on my 3rd year now. And even before that, SHAC's been around for a long time to improve the health and wellness of our staff and our students and our community. But this just kind of gives you an idea of where we were last year when we met, some of the things that we accomplished, and I'll be sharing a couple of those things with you here in just a second. I also included the new updated wellness policy. So one of our wins that I wanted to talk about was enhancing the wellness policy. That the SHAC worked, all the subcommittees worked in different parts of the wellness policy, this FFA local. And we looked through each one of the goals. We worked to enhance this. Well, on top of that, we also had a wellness ad hoc committee, which many of you, Ms. Alarcon was a part of that, Mr. Reed was a part of that, Ms. Nellie Edwards. Several of our members were part of an ad hoc committee of the SHAC, and we developed a wellness plan that goes along with each one of these goals. So if you're interested in policy and you want to know, well, how are we reaching these goals? Because as a SHAC, we look at the compliance with the schools. Well, what are the activities that the schools are supposed to be doing? That's what the plan is about. So all the details on how we're going to meet the goals, what are the actions that the district and the campuses what they should be taking, those are all a part of the plan. And so we're kind of rolling that out this year. And hopefully SHAC and whoever would like to be a part of that committee, we can also tie in a wellness award that goes along with this plan. So if you read through this, and it's a lot of physical activity, nutrition education, and there's some other school-based activities for like staff members. If this is something that you're interested in, then please consider being a part of that ad hoc committee this year. I'm very fortunate also to be a part of the community engagement team. So last year, and I'll talk about it in a second, one of our priorities in the SHAC was just gaining more support and being able to communicate more about health and wellness initiatives and things that we were working on. Well, we have our community engagement team that welcomes me to create these articles. We're a wonderful team, and in this current magazine, if you flip to, anybody know what page it is? Page 9 in our current magazine, the Goose Creek at a Glance. You'll notice that my colleague Priscilla Garza, she's the Healthy School Special Projects Coordinator, she wrote a story on how our SHAC last year was taking an interest in recess. And so, yes, it has a picture of Bowie Elementary on there also, because we are trying to increase physical activity. But if you notice, things like this are what's going to garner support for our School Health Advisory Council. And so the work that we're doing is getting noticed. It is being supported. And so I'm just really excited to what we'll do with this in the future. Also, in your folder, you should have the School Health Advisory Council meeting dates. So the one we're on right now, plus the additional. These are the mandatory meetings that we need you to attend. All the other subcommittee meetings, we'll have one next month for anyone that wants to be a part of subcommittees. Those are optional, but that is where the work of the SHAC happens, are in the subcommittee meetings. On the back side of the meeting dates, you'll notice there is a list there of all of our members. And I want to point out that I added this year the campus affiliate. The campus affiliate, come on in, sign in the back. You're fine. And there's seats up front. Woohoo! If you notice under campus affiliate, we have a lot more high schools that are represented. And I put this on here as if you have a child that attends that school. Can you hear me? A little bit. If you have a child that attends that school, if you're a teacher at that particular school, if you're just community member, like business organization, I put it as community. But I'm really excited to see that we're really expanding our SHAC, not from just the elementary, but we're really reaching all those parts. If you notice up here on the map, we're reaching. That's those dots. What are they called? The pointers, the little picks. That is all of our members' addresses. So we really spanned, a large part of Baytown and Highlands. So we're really trying to be intentional on making sure that we're representing all of our campuses, and that you're able to go back to the campuses to be able to share all that information, and that we're representing the community as well. All right, and then I think that's about it. Okay. And then I think the last page you have in there is what we'll be talking about here in just a second, which is the curriculum material adoption. All right, let me see what else is on here. So just as a side note, SHAC is a group of individuals, segments of the community that we just talked about, and we provide advice or recommendations to the district on coordinated school health. We do not create policy. We just make recommendations or advice towards policy that impact student health and learning. Our SHAC duties, like I've said before, are outlined in that EHAA legal, which is on the front, and your FFA local, which is the handout you have. We really want to make sure that we are being transparent, and we're increasing parental awareness on available community programs and services. So those partnerships are very key and important, and getting the community involved in getting them what they need. We also need to make sure that we're considering strategies that are evidence-based, that are going to support the goals that are within our wellness policies, that are, for the good of all. We created the SHAC over the past couple of years, have kind of created these guiding principles, and my favorite is always saying that we will grow healthy giants. So the very top line. So we're dedicating our efforts to ensure that our local community values are reflected in the decisions that we make and meet the diverse needs of our students. I'm not going to read each one, But if you notice, we have this WISC model that's on the side here. In our orientation meeting, I talked about this WISC model. If you notice, there's several components. There's 10 different components that make up this model. We are not in silo. We work maybe in subcommittees sometime in silo where health education, physical education, physical activity may meet, but then we bring back to the larger group the recommendations and get feedback. Just yesterday, I was attending an anti-bullying committee meeting. Sometimes bullying, the violence, that topic comes up within our SHAC meetings. But there is a separate committee that is formed here in the district for that. And as well, we also have a Safe and Secure Schools committee. Sometimes they overlap. So we may invite the Safe and Secure School Director to come and share with us, hey, we noticed these concerns, but we're all working together. So if you notice all of those 10 components, we can work together to coordinate, to make policies, practices, and processes are the key that I was thinking of. And all of those will improve learning and improve health. And the whole point is that we're going to have students that are healthy, that they're safe, they're engaged, they're challenged, and they feel supported by all of us together. It's not just one area working. So if we're doing our part in the schools, parents are doing their part, also community is giving back as well, then the child will be whole. Hope that explained it. And I just kind of broke it down. There's our house that we created last year. I'll go into that more some other time. So again, you have the SHAC activity accomplishments in that letter. We sometimes have presentations that come out regarding various issues. Last year, one of the hot topics was vaping. Still is, I think, a hot topic. School health issues that are happening around. We try as a group to support engagement events such as It's Time Texas Community Challenge. We try to support anything that will align with Texas Essential Knowledge Skills and bring the students the education that they need as far as health goes. For the first time in 20 years, the health and PE TEKs were updated. And within this time, you'll notice in the readings and leading into this next item, in November of 2020, the TEKs for health and PE were updated. Then this past year has been all about textbook adoptions and it needed to go through a whole process to where it was state approved, and it had to go through the SHAC, it had to go through community. The textbook committee, Mr. Roleski was, I keep looking at him because I'm like, yes, is that right? The textbook committee led the charge with that in the curriculum instruction side, but they reached out to the SHAC and said, hey, we would like support with this as far as what types of curriculum materials to support. So in March, those were approved by the school board. So we have some materials, so new textbooks for junior high, new textbooks. And when I say textbooks, they're not books. They're actually like digitized books. But we do, go ahead. High school health, okay. So high school health has them, and then we have the option too for the junior high as well to have some digital options. So there are already some curriculum materials that have already gone through the process, and then I'm just kind of telling you the road we're leading into now is that we would like to add some additional resources that are going to fit the needs that we have currently here in the district. And I'm not speaking for the department, but if you were at the meeting last week, I'm just kind of recapping. From the meeting last week, we heard some presentations regarding some different types of material. We are not comparing the material. So this is kind of our road ahead, right? Where are we at now and where are we going next? We're not asking you to compare the material from one thing to another. So there was a program that was presented, which was Aim for Success. You had Choosing the Best, which is more of a curriculum based where the teacher's teaching the lessons, sessions over time. And then you were also provided videos that were going to go along with a teacher-led in the classroom 5th grade lesson as well. So we're not asking, or the district is not asking you to choose from one to another. So I wanted to clarify that. They're just wanting all of those so that way they have some extra resources on the table and they can use those as needed. As of right now, all we have are the digital textbooks that were previously approved. but it's not necessarily conducive to what the PE teachers need at the time. Right now, it's PE that's teaching the material, and they don't have the necessary. That is something that we can strategize, we can talk about, but we're not trying to figure all of that out or how it's going to be taught. We want you to take a look at the material and see if it's suitable, because that's what the board has told us to do. And I got off my timeline. It's me today. In June, the board had a resolution, and what that means is they're saying, SHAC, we want you to take a look at some curriculum materials, and you must have, and it's all written out, you must have at least 2 public meetings over those materials before adopting those recommendations. We also had to make sure that the instructional content is suitable for the subject and grade level, and reviewed by academic experts in the subject and grade level. And then we have to present those, whatever recommendations we as a group come up with, we're just presenting those to the board for approval. So we're not asking you to select one or the other. We're just asking you to look at it and let us know if you believe it is suitable for the subject and grade level. Here is some of the review from the experts we had. I know it's kind of small. I don't know if I can make it any bigger without messing anything up. I'm pushing one up. We're up to like 400, but it's not doing anything. So I'll tell you what it says. Up here, so this top section here, it says we had 81 responses from the experts, so K through 8 PE/health teachers. We also had some some nurses from the health services also participated in this. We had 81 responses overall, and this just breaks up how many people looked at each different program. So 36 responded to the Aim for Success program, 20 looked at the Always Changing and Growing for the elementary only, those videos, and then 25 responded to the Choosing the Best curriculum. Overall, did they feel the curriculum content was appropriate and suitable for the subject and grade level? 92%, 58 of those responses said yes, they felt it was appropriate, and 5 said no, I do not feel it's appropriate. Then when we looked at the community feedback, this was based on the 2-hour meeting from last week. We shared it on our SHAC website to be able to get to that. Those of you that attended, we had about 21 SHAC members that attended that 2-hour-long meeting last week to listen to the presentations and then provide your feedback. We had 20 responses, 8 responses specific for the Aim for Success program, 5 for Choosing the Best curriculum, and 36% or 7 of them Always Changing video specific comments and responses. Overall, did they feel the curriculum content was appropriate, suitable for the subject and grade level? 13 responses said yes, I feel it is appropriate, and none said that it was not inappropriate. All right. So, what was something else that I needed to share? I wrote notes down earlier. So again, when we're asking for the adoption, we're not saying that you're choosing between one or the other. And also, just know that if this is a recommendations that from the district that we're pushing forward, that the district has to obtain parent consent before the instruction is provided to your child. So specifically, they have to opt in. It used to be you just sit at home, and if you don't get it back, it was like, okay, it's okay to teach it. But now it is opt-in, so parents have to sign the form for the student to participate in any of the instruction, no matter what it is, whether it's the program or the lessons in class. Even though the TEKS are law that the teachers are supposed to teach those TEKS or offer those TEKS, the parent has to approve that and opt in. All right, so you have your sheet here. This is what the district is recommending, correct, Mr. Martinez? Do you want to add anything to that? Let me put it up for an action item. So does anyone make them so that way we can make the discussion or have a discussion about this? I'm going to propose the motion for recommendations for the board to adopt the curriculum materials for the district's human sexuality instruction as written.
Chappell moves to support the recommendation for the board to adopt curriculum materials for the district's human sexuality instruction as written.
Anyone second the motion? Thank you, Mr. Chapa. Okay. Lee Martinez, second. Okay, is there any discussion? Just please raise your hand. Okay, Ms. Costick, if you'll use that microphone. I don't know. You might be able to. Can you reach the button? Yes, it has to be green.
Okay, am I heard? I can be loud. Okay, so I just had a couple of questions, and I apologize I was unable to respond. I told you I lost all devices. It was a bit of a crisis, and so I wasn't able to get back to the chalk form, but or to fill it out. But one question is, I know that we're going to be opting in. Parents will opt in before they can do it. Will they be informed of which instruction their child will be receiving and the ability to review it prior? So when they opt in, will they know what they're opting in for? And okay, so right, so like on that on the permission slip, it says your child will be receiving X in this actual curriculum. Okay, and I just had one comment. I get it, we're not comparing the two, but there was one red flag that really stood out to me when I was watching the presentation that kind of hit me. And it was in that second presentation. I I stopped counting at how many times the phrase long term committed relationship was used. And although yes, sex long term committed relationship, but what that looks like for a teenager is way different than what it looks like for an adult. And as many times as how it was used, it really turned into a red flag for me. Long term committed relationship, like that could be a month for a kid in junior high. Okay. Versus, and I get it, we're not comparing, but I think why it even stood out to me even more is in that first presentation, they they really hit hard on love and sex and how love doesn't necessarily equal sex and sex doesn't equal love, whether long term committed relationship or not. And that really stood out to me. Especially, I mean, I have four teenagers and one that's 20, right? And I know what love looks like for a teenager. But that really did bother, like, just because I know in interaction with kids. Um, and then what I didn't see, and I don't know if you can answer this, Mr. Martinez, but that the first program, what is that? Just say yes. No.
Choosing the best.
No, choosing the best, right? The choosing the best program. Do you know if they talk about sex trafficking or anything like that within that program? He didn't touch on it, but
They'll cover that as well.
okay.
All part of that SB 9. He's talking about everything that goes.
And that's what I thought, and just ensuring that. I mean, to me, that program really knocked it out of the ballpark. I was blown away by it in general, but when he really touched on the love and sex and that long term committed, that just it's a red flag for me. That's all I got.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. State your name, please. And you may need to move the microphone down there. Do you have one? Oh, you have one. Make sure the green light's on. Push the little button and it'll turn green.
Sheila Selman.
I hear you.
And I'm wondering, of the ones who voted that it was not appropriate for the grade level, do we have a way like to view what their objections were?
So I do have the comments. On this one, it was actually this slide was a list any positive, but after, I mean, looking through them, and I'm not speaking for everyone that's on here. Of course, I can print those out if you'd like to see the comments themselves. But majority of them, it was comfort level of, so like the PE teachers, so this expert K through 8 PE teachers, it's the comfort level of the teachers teaching the curriculum or teaching that particular thing. And so that'll come. And again, these are all details, and we talked about this a little bit last week. These are all details that we'll need to work out as we move along once we have something on the table to provide. But we will ensure that our teachers feel comfortable teaching that material as well, and that they're trained appropriately. So these on here right now, the 92% that said the PE teachers that said yes, they feel it's appropriate, and the 5 comments, the 8% that said no, I don't feel it's appropriate, the majority of those were specific to their comfort level in teaching the material, if that makes any sense. Anything to add? Because he read through them too.
What you recommend, so all that, they'll have to be trained on all that. Some of the information that was given to them teaches them how to stay on task. Of course, another one is to bring people in. Have those options. Have multiple options because right now we can do certain things that this covers, but we can't do these things because we can't get to that point right now. Because we do have the PE teachers teaching that stuff. So that would be hard to get in front of a computer inside of the gym. We'd have to go to different classrooms. So if we have different options, we'll have an opportunity to train before we get to that point, if that helps.
Not even teaching the subject matter. It's just the variation of
They have.
what they
No,
presented.
you're absolutely right. I don't mean to cut you off, but you're absolutely right. But it's the questionings that they worry about more so than anything. It's like, what is this kid gonna ask? You know, with the way things, things are a little bit different than they were when I was in high school. I know that. In the '80s, it's a lot different. You know, so the questions are, that's stuff that we're gonna have to prepare for. But we have to have, then what this is, we have to have the options in order to be prepared, in order to have them prepared for that. Because we need to run through this rigor first before we get going in this direction.
The material that was already approved by the SHAC in the past, it's VHS tapes. It's very old material. Like it is. I started 2 years ago, and it's very old material.
Yeah, I'll tell you. There you go.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up, Mr. Brown.
What kind of comment, I guess, with what you were saying, Ms. Martinez, and what you was thinking, with the kids between social media and reality television, and teaching this, and thank you, Jesus, I'm not there, but with teaching this, I guess everybody's looking for boundaries, setting based on information, what boundaries you can set, right? If you can set the boundaries, then that's gonna curtail certain questions, and then everybody can develop a temporary comfort zone. So that's one of the things, because some classes I've walked in and then I walk right back out. I know I got to. So it's just some things we hear, but I understand.
And I think the other difference is, as 10 years ago, the district had a health education classroom for junior high, and that's a big difference. So those types of things, those types of details, those are recommendations that we can make down the road as we go along. But right now, we just need material that is suitable for the subject and grade level, or the district needs that, not me. The district needs something that's suitable for that, that grade level and that content available, so that the students can get get the education they need. So thank you, Ms. Costick, Ms. Hellman, and Mr. Brown for the discussion, and Mr. Martinez. All right. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and propose that we go ahead, let me move to my slide here, that we push forward with these recommendations for the curriculum materials for the district's human sexuality instruction as it's written on that sheet. Would anyone like to, what am I trying to say? I'm just proposing that that's out there. Would anyone like to agree? Oh, wait, we've already done that. So we're good. We're good. You're looking at me like, wait. Now I'm moving for a vote. I'm sorry. So I'm moving to vote on that. So You, Mr. Reed, you approve that? And anyone second? Okay, sorry, I'm going through my Roberts rules. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and propose that we vote for recommendations for the board to adopt the curriculum materials for the district's human sexuality instruction as written. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay.
I'm abstaining.
Anyone abstaining? Thank you. The motion passes. All right. Now we're up for SHAC Nominations Committee. I'll ask Ms. Pena and Mr. Chapa to come on up to help with this for officer elections. We're going to start off with those nominees that are listed here. You have a blue and a pink piece of paper. One of them is for the co-chair, the blue, and the pink is for the secretary. Please don't vote yet because I'm going to give our members just 1 second to How are you? Hi. Come on in. Okay, so before you vote, does everyone have a pink and a blue sheet? These are for appointed members to vote only. So if you're a guest, just please excuse yourself for a second from voting. And if I'm going to call first for our SHAC co-chairs. We'll place that vote. And then after we have that election, then we'll go forward with a secretary nominee. Mr. Edwards is not here today. He is still a member, our SHAC co-chair from last year, parent member, not available to be here today, but he has stepped down from his position. He's just got a lot going on. And then Ms. Nelson, did she arrive? I don't see her. So Ms. Nelson was our SHAC secretary last year. So you'll see her also as on the co-chair nominees. So just so that you are aware of who Ms. Nelson is, she was our SHAC co-chair this past year. Secretary. I'm going to give Ms. Kostick just a moment to introduce herself and tell us why she is interested in being the co-chair for the SHAC. And then we'll pass it over to Mr. Reed.
I was nominated. Really wasn't interested. No, I'm kidding. So I'm Kim Kostek. I am a parent here in the district, obviously, because I guess you can't hold this position without me. So I have currently 5 kids in the district, 4 at Lee, 1 at Travis. And I just love Goose Creek. So I am here if this is what I needed to do. Then I think David is amazing as well. I am be here to support Amanda. She is fabulous and keeps us going. So, I mean, I love SHAC and I don't know really what you want me to say. If you don't know me, now you know me.
Thank you, Ms. Kostick. And Mr. Reed.
Hey, how's it going? My name is David. I have 3 sons that attend school here in GCCISD. 1 at Goose Creek Memorial and then 2 at Gentry. I'll be in the district for a while, at least till they get out of high school. I work in food service restaurants, and so I have some nutrition background. We've had some fun learning about the nutrition guidelines and stuff with what it takes to operate and feed kids. And so I was involved with that committee last year. And then my wife and I own a business over on Main Street. And so we're dug into the community, and it matters to us that people grow up and they grow up right here in GCCISD. So that's me.
I'm excited. Are there any nominations from the floor? Anyone that wants to write in? We can write your name in on the ballot. Anyone? Now's your chance. Okay. We do have wonderful candidates. I don't know. And then of course Ms. Nelson's not here to speak for herself. She did an excellent job as secretary last year. So she knows what it takes to be there alongside me and helping out with running this wonderful SHAC. Okay, so no other nominations from the floor. All right, so cast your vote. You'll just put a little check mark next to one of the names, fold it up, and then Sam and I and Patricia will be around to collect those, or actually we'll bring them to you to tally if that's okay. I'll collect them. Oh, okay.
He's gonna do one color.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
This is just.
Just for co-chair. We're just doing the blue paper. Mr. Chapa, did you vote?
Okay, that's it.
So we need to know who made this one first, because if it ends up being Michelle Nelson, then she has to be on the ballot. Okay, so who's telling? I'm just gonna pull it. Miss Anna Rodriguez, where are you? Miss Anna Rodriguez? Okay. While they're tallying up the co-chair elections, just so we can keep going, Miss Anna Rodriguez is on the nominated. She was nominated as well. She asked to be, and then she was actually nominated too. So we're happy to have you on our chat this year. But we'd like you to just take a minute to introduce yourself and tell us why you would like the position for a secretary. And if you want to use the microphone so we can. Oh, she said, I got this.
I'm Anna Rodriguez. I go by Becky though. My son did not have music until so I'm raising his son, who does have I've seen y'all before. Not just the teachers, one SHAC. About it once, I think it's great. 16 years ago. She's still here, she's pushing.
Thank you. All right. All right. So I think they've completed the. Yes. Okay. So we're going to announce our new 2022-2023 co-chair. Drum roll, please.
Mr. David Reed.
Oh, Mr. Reed. Congratulations. All right. So we are going to go ahead for SHAC secretary nominees. Would anyone like to be placed on the ballot, written in on the ballot? Give you an opportunity. One would like to be the SHAC secretary. Thanks. She went. I did email. I emailed you too and asked you. This one.
Yes.
So if there's anyone else that's okay, do y'all have questions about the SHAC secretary role before? Like you might be interested, but you're just not sure and you don't know what it's about. Anyone want more information because you're interested?
I would like more information if you wouldn't mind sharing.
Okay, so with that, the expectation is that within 72 hours after our meeting, the SHAC minutes are typed up written so that way we can share that with our SHAC members. Okay, and so that's like pretty immediate after getting with me, going through the motion, and then if for some reason I'm out and the co-chair is, a parent co-chair is out, the SHAC secretary takes over the meeting and runs the meeting for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and place our votes for our SHAC secretary, and if there's no one on board, and then we'll go ahead and collect those as well. Did you vote? And Sam's gonna come by and do that. And here's two. Okay, we're gonna keep going because I don't want to run out of time, and we already are. Okay, so while they're tallying that up, I'm going to keep going because I know we started just a few minutes later, but I want to get you out of here pretty quick, and I have a couple things real quick to do. All right, so if I could have your attention. So just real quick, on the letter were some priority areas for 22-23. We are going to continue to develop the Goose Creek Wellness Plan and the award, hopefully, that we can offer from the SHAC and present that at the board meeting, maybe at the end of the year, to our campuses. So for those of you that are a part of a campus school health advisory committee, please make sure that y'all are looking over the wellness policy, and more information is to come. I was talking with Ms. Sherman earlier about how the district and the communications will start pushing through about the wellness plan, hopefully very soon. We're going to continue to provide recommendations for the health and PE material, the curriculum resources. So just because we have this list of items now the work will begin. We have to get it approved through the board next before we can actually start putting some processes in place. We'll continue to provide guidance to schools for their coordinated school health plans. High schools, we encourage you to have a campus committee as well. Surrounded, our K through 8 are required to have a campus committee. We'd like our high schools too. We want student voice. That can be something that we can consider this year, is having a kids SHAC, having some voice from our junior highs and high schools as well. We've been talking about that for a while now. So that's some priority areas for this year. Continue to strengthen the communication so word gets out about our SHAC. Just holler at me when you're ready so we can keep going. All right, so where are our old members, our old SHAC members? I want you to just put your hands up and say, that's me. All right, who are our new members? Put your hand up, that's me. All right, where are our teachers, our school teachers at? That's me, you gotta say, that's me. It's me. We're our district representatives, so district level coordinators, directors. That's me. Very good. Any special ed inclusion teachers in here? That's me. There you go. I was waiting on that. All right, so thank you for that. Just a quick overview about our school health, our subcommittees. Before we leave today, I would like to know what subcommittee that you would be interested in being a part of. Many of you on your, and we're going to do it on the green piece of paper, so everybody grab a green piece of paper. But on the application, many of you put several committees that you'd be interested in being a part of. I'd like you to try to narrow it to the one main one. I can invite you to all of them, but the one main one that you are interested in. For example, the first one, our SHAC standing subcommittee, we're going to be working in health education, PE, and physical activity. That's all one subcommittee, one thing, number one. We'll be continuing to work on the human sexuality instruction and implementing the new health and PE TEKS this year. We're going to continue working on recess guidelines to increase physical activity. We have a pilot going on from some SHAC recommendations that were made. We also will have the opportunity to enhance space and look at safety, sun safety type of initiatives. So if you're interested in that, you're going to place on your paper. Let me show you what it looks like. This is what I want you to do. Somewhere on that paper, first and last name, top corner, on that green paper. I don't know why I didn't make it green. Put your first and last name on the paper. Okay. On the paper, your favorite pastime, where it says pastime. What do you like to do in your free time, just so I can get to know you a little better? Somewhere you're going to be putting your subcommittee preference, which I'm fixing to go back to the subcommittee so you know what they all are. And then if there's something today that you're like, okay, there's a school health issue that I want us to address this year, that's something that's been standing out to you, you can also place that on there. So let me go back. So health education, we've already talked about that subcommittee. Number 2 is nutrition, environment, and services. If you're really into nutrition, this is not nutrition education per se, because that usually is covered in health ed in that first committee. But nutrition environment, the environment of nutrition, the services, promoting healthy fundraisers. We'll look at the wellness policy, the plan, the award, that groove. Usually we kind of build out an ad hoc subcommittee from, because that's what it ended up being, is the majority of nutrition services, because it does have a lot of goals there. Number 3 is, I've combined these, so you can even put number 3 on there. Health services, mental and social health, and employee wellness. We've had a lot going on this past year with mental health, the social emotional side, and then how also can we involve our staff as well. We're going to put health services also with that, because a lot of the things that we've been talking about, the vaping prevention strategies, substance abuse, anti-bullying, suicide prevention type of things, if that is the thing that you want to work on, providing strategies, then you want to be a part of number 3, which is health services, mental, social, and employee wellness. And finally, number 4, family and community engagement. This is the fun group that wants to go out and do projects and create strategies for positive communication. We do have an opportunity coming up soon where the SHAC can potentially work with It's Time Texas Community Challenge. We have a meeting on Thursday this week. So those of you that sign up for family and community engagement, I'm going to be sending you an email, just those people, not everybody, just those people, an email to participate in the It's Time Texas Community Challenge meeting. It'll be virtual, so that way we can talk about maybe SHAC participating in that. So pick one of those. This is what it looks like again. Make sure your name's on there, your favorite pastime, what preference subcommittee you want to do, and then if there's some issue, some school health issue that you are concerned about, definitely put that on there so we can designate where we're going to start working towards that. We do have an action plan we've been working on for the past couple of years, but this will kind of gear us into what your community feedback is. All right, this is like the last slide before the last slide. So we have lots of events happening all over our district. Be Well Baytown Day, there's vendors wanted. This is a community-wide health and wellness initiative sponsored by Indy Anderson. Our Be Well Baytown partners are going to help us with this. It's going to be 10 to 1 at EF Green. Thank you. EF Green from 10 to 1. It'll be a free community-wide event. Family and Community Engagement Group will potentially have a booth there and try to get people signed up for the It's Time Texas Community Challenge. So if you're interested in that, Family and Community Engagement Group. We're always sending out through the Campus Success Specialists, through the SMORE newsletters, different food distributions. This week we have a food distribution at Faith Family, not we, but Hearts and Hands of Baytown, another partner of ours. They have a food distribution at Faith Family Church on the 28th, Cedar Bayou Baptist on the 1st, and Faith Family again on the 8th. This is all free, fresh produce, and I'll share all these slides with y'all after the meeting. So you will get an email from me. It'll be the slides in the minute. We have next week 3 walk to school events next week. So on Wednesday, October 5th, Travis Elementary and Asheville Smith are both doing walk to schools, increased physical activity on that morning. And then Friday, Bowie Elementary, Bowie is hosting their walk to school. All of those start at an alternate location, and families come. It's just a lot of fun. Sometimes you might see me dressed up like a cone, but the kids come. They get really excited and pumped up before they go to school, and they all walk to school together with their parents and their friends, and it's just a lot of fun. It is Hispanic Heritage Month. I wanted to point out that our district now has a podcast that's geared for our Hispanic culture, and it's all in Spanish. Don't get me to say it wrong. Conversations Gigantes. Okay. So please check that out. Gigantes. Okay. And then I also wanted to point out I went to that anti-bullying committee meeting yesterday, and they are going to celebrate Unity Day on October 19th, Ms. Caldwell. It's a Wellness Wednesday, correct? And then so everyone can wear orange. You can wear orange for the Astros, but orange. But it's for Unity Days because we are trying to push out kindness, acceptance, and inclusion. So it's anti-bullying month, all of this next month of October as well. And then we have various catch events that are going on this Thursday. Alamo is doing a family tailgate. So as things like that come up, we try to push that out, but that may be part of how are we going to communicate that. Ms. Pena, did you have anything you wanted to share? Maybe the volunteer opportunity for Days of Caring?
Our volunteer efforts. We have an online volunteer hub that have local agencies that post their volunteer opportunities. I want to say opportunities that happen every day. There are opportunities for students, families, individuals involved. So I encourage you to have students either in your classes or at home that need volunteer or community service hours. This is a great place to find where they can go to do that. It's a system that tracks all of their hours. It can print out a form for them that verifies for it. Really simple and easy to use. And at United Way, we have our annual Day of Caring coming up at the end of October on the 21st. It is a Friday. However, we have several large student groups at some of the high schools and middle schools, I believe, that are doing projects at their schools as classes or as groups. So I would encourage you, ask your students if they're getting involved, figure out how they can get involved. If you guys have any questions over what that looks like or how to use Volunteer Connect, get involved with it, please let me know. I'll give you my business card and we can connect and make that happen.
Thank you, Ms. Pena. Anyone else have any announcements or celebrations? Yes.
Can I add with the Hearts and Hands another date, actually?
Yes.
October 13th at Lee College. Okay. The Lee cheerleaders will be doing their share of volunteering with Hearts and Hands.
Okay. So I like that word's getting out. Follow social media for Goose Creek and for all of the campuses as well. A lot has been pushed out that way and on some more newsletter. Any other announcements? All right. So the final thing, and I mean, y'all can get up and hoop and holler, but we have two things. One, who is our SHAC secretary?
Our officer election for SHAC secretary for the 22-23 school year, Miss Anna Rodriguez.
Congratulations. All right, Ms. Black's not here. So while I'm doing our spin the SHAC wheel, thank you for Mr. Martinez from Athletics for donating these items. The only thing that you'll need to leave on your table are the green pieces of paper, so I know which subcommittee that you belong to. I think it'd be okay. Please. I don't mind you. If you feel like you're going to lose it, you're welcome to leave it on the back table. But if you think you'll be able to bring it back each time, then please do so. It's up to you if you can trust yourself. But we have some prizes from the athletics. So as you're gathering your things, I'm just going to call out some names, maybe, of some prizes. Athletics director brought some shirts for some of our members. Oh, and Lee Martinez won. And this usually takes forever, so whatever. And DBAT also have some of the things. Miss Emmons, are you here? Emmons? No? This takes forever every time. And if I click it, it doesn't go like again. Didn't we say last year we were, Miss Caldwell, didn't we say last year, come on up, that we were going to do, we were just going to do tickets because it took a long time? I forgot. I remembered about the badges, but I forgot about the thing. And it's not so here. So, you get first pick. So there's a cutting board. There's different questions. Mr. Manuel, yay, Mr. Manuel, come on up. So you get second choice up here. There's some shirts, some pumpkin spice if you're a baker. The pumpkin spice bread. Every time. Miss Myers, you won. Come on up and find something here. And Mr. Reed provided a couple of DBAT for the batting cages, some cards to go and do 75 hits. So I have a couple of those as well. Michelle Nelson. I know, it did it again, didn't it? If you need to go, thank you so much. Please take some snacks and things with you. I'm going to call the meeting adjourned. It's now 6:11. 6:11, meeting adjourned.